Gets it away. It is complete. McQueen is open for the first down and more. To the 22-yard line goes Tyrone McQueen. Tackled by Billy Cunningham. Clock down to 1:45. Gain of 18 yards. 45 to go in the half. First down 10, Rutgers. They hand it to Kurt Stevens. Big hole for the fullback inside the 15 to the 13. 10 at the 12-yard line. Rutgers trailing 10-3. Closing moments of the quarter. It is complete to Young. Nice move inside the 5 to the 4. The clock continues running. Minute 15, minute 14, but Rutgers has all their timeouts left and plenty of time to get this ball in the end zone. Now they have called timeout with a minute 15 remaining. So Vanderbilt's defense unable to hold Rutgers after the fumble turned the ball over to the Scarlet Knights at the 45-yard line.
Get after it. They can find it.
Second down 3 from the 5. Rutgers. Play fake. Ernie under pressure has to throw it away. Chris Gaines was all over 3 against balanced, very balanced Rutgers offensive team. You just don't know what they're liable to do in terms of run or pass down here.
Especially as their offense has opened up, Bob. Thrown the ball a lot more in the last 3 games than they had earlier in the year.
Third and 3 from the 5. Stevens fullback in motion. Pitch. Power run to the right side. Close to the first down, Henry Henderson carrying. The significant thing here in terms of Rutgers. Henry Henderson does not get into the end zone on that play. Clock running. Second down. Stevens, the big fullback, scores. Touchdown, Rutgers. Stevens with his 4th touchdown on the year. Most of them runs just like that. He's a big truckload, good short yard to play with Waddle and Flutie.
Out go the double tight ends. Actually had 3 tight ends in the formation that time with Caesar and Hudgens go to the sidelines. Johnny Majors wrings his hands and pleads to his defense to stop one more time. They've done it for him several times. 3rd and 6 looking at them here. Gasparello in motion, and off the bell. 15. Looks like he's got the first down. It's going to be very close. First and goal from the 8. Howard pitches. This is Frazier. Frazier sees his interference. Ball down. Touchback in the way. Touchdown, Boston College.
Hello, I'm Craig Sager. This is the SEC 87 Halftime Report. Vanderbilt is trying to treat its homecoming crowd to an upset win over Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights in desperate need of a win to keep their bowl hopes alive. That's how close this contest has been so far. E.T. among those in hand and on board for this big game in Nashville, Tennessee. Quarterback Eric Jones of Vanderbilt on the option play picks up 22 yards, set up a field goal by Johnny Clark as Vandy took a 3-0 lead. A field goal by Rutgers tied the score at 3, but Vandy came right back, this time in the air, second quarter. Jones to Carl Parker, his 6th TD of the season. That made it 10-3, but Rutgers scored just before half. It is now tied 10-all as we go to halftime. Tennessee having trouble, a big upset possibly in the making. The Volunteers held to just 76 yards the first half. They did not help their cause by turning the ball over 3 times. So it is now 20-3, Boston College over Tennessee. Earlier this afternoon, Tim Brown of Notre Dame went to the locker room with a hand injury. X-rays were negative. He's back on the field against Navy. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish have not lost to Navy since 1963 when Roger Staubach was the quarterback of the Midshipmen. First touchdown scored by Notre Dame was by Anthony Johnson first quarter. Later in that same quarter, he scored again. Identical play made it 14-0. After going to the locker room for the X-rays, Tim Brown returned to the field. And he picked up 44 yards on a pass play from Tony Rice down to the 21-yard line. Plenty of speed, but he ran out of room on the very next play. Mark Green gets the call. And he is stopped just past the line of scrimmage, but then cuts to the outside, breaks the tackle, outruns everybody in the end zone. And Notre Dame was leading 21-0. Last play of the first half. Kent Graham looking for Tim Brown. This is 52 yards. Brown catches the ball, goes into the end zone, fumbles, but not until after he had crossed the goal line. And as you see, a big score, a big lead for Notre Dame. 42-6, Notre Dame leading early in the third quarter. The Miami Hurricanes with a 21-3 lead over East Carolina. Quarterback Steve Walsh, 13 out of 21 in the first half for 161 yards and a pair of TD passes. Clemson scored. Donnell Wolford intercepted a pass, returned it 67 yards. That is the only touchdown so far in that game. North Carolina State and South Carolina. South Carolina has the only two scores, both field goals. It is 6-0 late second quarter. West Virginia and Penn State. The Nittany Lions holding on. The score right now is tied 7-all. That also is just late in the first quarter. Arkansas over Rice 10-7. That is in the second.
Week is brought to you by Coast Soap in 2 invigorating scents. Feel alive with Coast. The Bruins of UCLA are surprisingly threatened by lowly regarded California when Cal quarterback Troy Taylor fires into the end zone, only to have the pass picked off by Dennis Price. From there, it's a coast-to-coast run to the record books as Price rolls 100 yards for a back-breaking touchdown in UCLA's 42-18 win.
The SEC 87 halftime report. After knocking off Michigan and Ohio State in the same season, the Indiana Hoosiers had their sights set on the Iowa Hawkeyes, but they had to travel on the road to take on Iowa, where they ran into all sorts of distractions. Iowa with a flea flicker early in the game. Chuck Hartley is the starting quarterback for the Hawkeyes, one of 3 to start early, but now he has the job. He fools everybody with his play, and watch the great catch by Quinn early in the end zone. That gave Iowa a 7-0 lead. Indiana came back with a tremendous play. This was late second quarter. Dave Schnell, the leading passer of the Big Ten, on the run, and look at the arm. But if you think that is good, wait till you see the catch by Ernie Jones. Triple teamed. Jones comes up with the ball and a touchdown for Indiana, but unfortunately for Hoosier fans, that's the only TD Indiana has so far in the game. Iowa leading at the half, 20-7. That's the same score we have North Carolina over Maryland. Norris Davis scored after he blocked the punt. That's the third punt he has blocked so far this year. Tar Heels leading 20-7. Georgia Tech and Duke are scoreless. That is just underway in the first quarter. Northwestern giving Michigan a bit of a hard time. Michigan leading 3-0. Bo Schembechler has never lost to Northwestern. He has a 12-game winning streak against the Wildcats. Purdue has the only touchdown of the game, leading Wisconsin by the score of 7-0. The same with Harvard over Brown. Yale has moved ahead of Dartmouth now in the Ivy League by a score of 14-7. That game is at intermission. Princeton and Penn, no score, second quarter. Hold the presses. Columbia, 37 consecutive losses. However, the Lions are roaring this afternoon. They now lead Lehigh by the score of 10-7. Lehigh has a 3-3 record on the year. Columbia, of course, has not won. They haven't won in 4 seasons, but they lead 10-7 second quarter. We'll watch that one closely for you in the second half. Bucknell has a 7-0 lead over Cornell. Elsewhere, Western Michigan is about ready to hand Central Michigan another loss this year. That would give Central Michigan its first losing season since 1964. Ohio and Eastern Michigan leading now 14-3. No score between Toledo and Kent State. That is in the second quarter. Northern Illinois trails Ball State by the score of 7-0. The same score, Miami of Ohio leading Bowling Green. And Holy Cross, Gordy Lockbaum still in their Heisman Trophy race. That game underway in the first quarter. No score to report between Holy Cross and Massachusetts schools.
38 left in the period. Tenn back to throw. Looking long for Harper. In the end zone. Knocked away by Munn.
Excellent coverage by Vincent Munn. He was pushed at the end. He could have easily had offensive interference there. They didn't call it, but Munn, the senior, had good position on the wide receiver.
20, Tennessee at 10. Howard from his own 35. Gives this time to Frazier. He's got the first down and more. Going all the way, one man to beat. And gets caught down to the 24-yard line. Waddle.
Assistant performer. Rooney, the punter.
Sterling Hinton isn't very experienced, but he's looked calm and cool. Boston College to move everybody off the line of scrimmage. Hinton to throw. Hinton scrambles. Murphy chasing. Knocks him out of bounds. of 1, 29 seconds showing on the clock. Murphy to stop 3 undefeated seasons. 3 wide receivers to the left. Hinton looking that way. Puts it up for Cleveland. Incomplete. College 20. Tennessee 18. Same formation. 3 wides to the left. Hinton with time. Scrambling out and after running. Pearson drives him out of bounds with 15 seconds remaining. He's got trips for work to the left side. He instead scrambles to the right side. You want to be rolling at least to the side where your receivers are. He's right-handed, 4th down. Putting it all up in the air. Looking for Cleveland, nearly not going. At midfield. And pulled down at the 45-yard line. Time expires. Boston College wins. Pandemonium breaks out at Alumni Stadium, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Boston College wins 20-18. We'll be back after this word from your local station.
The sophomore, Dave Johnson.
So Boston College now goes to 5-4 with 2 remaining. Tennessee at 5-2-1.
Norman, is that you?
No, it's Buzz McKenzie, and it could be you! Look for this display and enter Bud Light Psycho Sweepstakes to win a Bud Light party with Buzz McKenzie at the Psycho Mansion. You can even get a mug like Spud's at participating retailers. Wow!
That Spud is so cool, it's scary.
You're absolutely right. Everybody questions their schedule because they play a lot of Eastern teams that most people throughout the country don't know. But as we pointed out earlier, this Eastern league that they play in, not the league, but the Eastern teams they play are tough. Obviously, Penn State's a pretty good football team still.
And there's the leader of this ball club.
You know, it's amazing for a quarterback to be able to run the option and throw the ball as accurately as he does.
Brings him up to the line with 23 seconds to go. Touchdown. Tommy Kane, 11-yard pass from McPherson. So the hottest combination in college football continues its march toward a possible unbeaten.
29-21. Really in the Halloween spirit there in Iowa City. Trick or treat time here. The trick, the flea flicker, and the treat, Hartlieb to early for the touchdown. 20-7, Iowa led at one point, but back came Indiana behind backup quarterback Dave Cram to take the lead 21-20. And then Hartlieb in the 4th quarter, 10 minutes to go. Mike Flagg down to the 1, set up the game winner. And 29-21, Indiana suffers its first Big Ten loss of the year. Tennessee and Boston College. This series started in the 1941 Sugar Bowl. BC wins it today in an upset, 20-18. And in this game, Tim Frazier, 9-yard run, and what a run it was for the Eagles. Scores the touchdown that made it 20-3 at the time, BC. BC holds on to win it 20-18, second loss of the year for Tennessee. Now Clemson trailed 17-10 against Wake Forest before storming back and winning it by 14. Joe Henderson with a couple of 4th quarter touchdowns, and Wake now has dropped 3 games in a row. Ohio State scored on the first play of the game, a Tom Tupa pass covering 79 yards. Bobby McAllister comes back for Michigan State. It's tied in the first quarter. Penn State and West Virginia, this is a final now. West Virginia led it 21-10 in the 4th quarter before Penn State rambled back behind Blair Thomas, 181 yards and a touchdown for Thomas, and Penn State wins it to go to 6-2 on the year. And South Carolina shutting out North Carolina State. The Wolfpack today held to 35 yards total offense, including minus 14 yards rushing. And we'll be back with more scores and highlights in just a moment as the Prudential College Football Report continues here on CBS with scores from around the country.
From the zone, 47. First pass of the day for Covey. He's under pressure and sacked back at the 37-yard line. A loose ball. BYU is backed up now, 3rd and 15. From the zone, 37-yard line. Here's Covey looking to throw. And it's going to come to the near side. Incomplete for Rich Zayas. Moves the ball down to the BYU 23. And cause for concern for Lavelle Edwards. Dallas pitches. Roberson. Check it. That's Johnson. And he's out of bounds. Johnson making his move. The Cougar faithful here at the stadium making a lot of noise to support the defense. Dallas with the pitch. And a tremendous tackle by Rodney Rice. Frank Johnson into the backfield. 7. Stay inside, goes to Windorf. Windorf out of Granada Hills, California, to San Fernando.
Work out that muscle and hopefully get some of that strength back so he can carry the football in the second half.
3rd down and 4. The pitch was a little high for Darrell Harris. Field goal try. It's up. It's good. So Arizona State with 3 field goals from Allen Zendejas, 37, 29, and 38 yards, lead it 9-0. Quarterback Covey throwing, and it's complete. And it's going to be Miles to make the catch and grab, and he'll run it out to the 43-yard line. Darrell Sumrall made the hit for Airfield. Elsewhere, the Tar Heels of North Carolina with the win in the ACC. Duke blowing out Georgia Tech in the 4th quarter. On the opposite side of the field, the Air Force Academy, head coach Fisher to bear down. Complete at the 44-yard line. The intended receiver was the tight end, Darren Hanlon.
Right now, Michigan State leads in the second quarter. It's 13-7 after Ohio State scored on a 79-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Well, Michigan State has come back. They lead 13-7 in the second quarter. Oklahoma and Kansas. Jamel Holloway has thrown for 1 touchdown, ran for another. Patrick Collins has 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. 50-10, the number 1 ranked Sooners moving right along. Nebraska quarterback Steve Taylor has thrown for 4 touchdown passes. They lead Missouri 35-7. That game is in the third quarter. Well, Miami quarterback Steve Walsh has thrown 3 touchdown passes. The Hurricanes on the road for the last time this year lead East Carolina 41-3. That is a final score. 2 of those touchdown passes went to his fine wide receiver Brian Blades. Here's one of them, a 9-yard toss. It made it 28-3. Like we said, the final score is 41-3. Syracuse and Pittsburgh. For Syracuse, Don McPherson had 2 touchdown passes and ran for 1. It's in the third quarter right now. Syracuse ranked 8th in the country, leading Pittsburgh 24-10. Well, Notre Dame has sunk the Naval Academy. 56-13 is the final score. Anthony Johnson had 4 touchdown passes. Tim Brown caught 1 touchdown for the Fighting Irish. Anthony Johnson ran for 4 touchdowns. Here's the pass to Tim Brown. It came from Kent Graham. Now, Kent Graham is filling in for the injured Tony Rice. Rice had stitches put in his face after last week's game against USC. Graham, 51 yards to Tim Brown. That made it 35-6. The final score, as we mentioned a little while ago, 56-13.
Well, Jim, Indiana's hold atop the Big Ten is over. Iowa scores the last touchdown of the game after Indiana came back from a 27 deficit and led 21-20. But Iowa does come back and win this game 29-21. So Indiana will now be in second place as a result of what's happening with Michigan State if the Spartans can win. There's an important game coming up. We've got something to show you from the Iowa game. It was Chuck Hartlieb who eventually became the starting quarterback after early rotations by the Iowa team. Hartlieb finds Mike Flagg for 31 yards. This set up what eventually became the winning touchdown, and for Hartlieb, 19 for 27, 271 yards on the day. Minnesota and Illinois. Illinois, homecoming today. They started the tradition in 1910. They're trying to establish a winning tradition right now, leading Minnesota by 10 in the fourth. Michigan came back after an upset, after a loss last week, 29-6 over Northwestern today. Jamie Morris, 19 for 163 yards. And 1 touchdown. Quarterback Mike Taylor in for injured Demetrius Brown, rushed for 144 yards. Purdue wins big today over Wisconsin as Fred Akers records his second win for the Boilermakers, 49-14. Boston College upset Tennessee today. That game was at the Heights campus, 20-18. The ground game for BC did it. They had 344 yards rushing. Penn State over West Virginia today, 25-21. Those of you who were with us last week, remember there was a tremendous amount of anticipation for the ice cream. Well, the flavor they picked, Peachy Paterno. Jody Lefebvre of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, was the winner. The first thing she's ever won. Clemson over Wake Forest today, 31-17. Running back Joe Henderson had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to break a 17-17 tie. North Carolina over Maryland today, 27-14. Now they are 3-1 in the ACC, but Clemson with the win is 4-1, and they will play each other next. Interesting action in the ACC. And finally, South Carolina, who used to play in the ACC many years ago, 48-0 over NC State. Quarterback Todd Ellis had a quiet day as all of South Carolina's 6 touchdowns were on.
BYU has Bellini and Whittingham in the backfield. Covey back to pass to the sideline. And the pass is complete for a first down. David Miles made the grab, got the foot down just beyond the yard marker, 1st and 10, 5-yard line. And now, Lee, that passing game for BYU is starting to click.
And what set it up? The running game. What they did is they run the ball to keep the people off balance of the Air Force. Now watch. Covey goes back, gets good pass protection that time by White, 63, throws the ball. Good reaction because he knows he's got a guy wide open in Hanley who makes a good catch, number 8.
BYU has it back at their own 48. It's 2nd and 17. Sophomore quarterback Sean Covey making his first start for the Cougars today. That's BYU up to the line. He's 3 for 6 in the air and going up top on 2nd and long. He's going deep to Zayas. He's got it. Rick Zayas with the catch at the 2. The 2, a 46-yard pass play. Jumping into the end zone, Mike O'Brien, touchdown, Cougars.
Kept things well under control. Changes the play. Gets his time incomplete. The other bit that is not true. And McPherson is making believers out of a lot of folks with the way he operates. God trying to get into it. Quarterback sneak, that should be enough. He went right in behind the center, Cornish, Frank Cornish, John Kidder, and Ritter.
Well, they were second in the Pac-10 in giving points defensively.
It is 1st and goal from the 7 for UCLA, and Aikman rolls to the wide field, throws to the corner, touchdown. Taco Craig, 2nd of the day.
Southern Cal, he's as fine a defensive lineman we've seen this year anyway.
Going in motion is Chuck Cutler. Cutler. He'll throw. Complete to the 25, down to the 24. Hanley making the grab and gang tackled and driven back, but they'll give him his progress to the 23.
And now the boot action. Now Covey's going to call timeout because he's got 28 seconds to go and he wants to get a good drill. They ought to be. They played a 2-minute drill for 60 minutes.
Indeed. 28 seconds left in the half. Tip pass, incomplete highlights.
Historically, BYU likes to throw the halfback
game back in September. Coming in motion is Cutler. The handoff to Whittingham. And just the Cougars with sophomore quarterback Sean Covey. And it took him a couple of series. He got his feet wet. Now he looks like he's got all the confidence in the world.
Because he's mixing up his attack. He's not trying to win the game by himself. He's using all of his teammates.
From the 15. Covey throws it into a crowd, the big tight end. Darren Hanley makes the grab.
Bob Ranford and Lee Corso at Cougar Stadium in Provo, Utah. BYU leading Air Force 14-10. We have 11 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And the quarterback of the Cougars, Sean Covey, is up on third down from the 8-yard line. Tight end Tanner in motion. Covey looking, throwing, incomplete on the end. And the kick is good for quarterback Sean Covey. BYU may have found its latest quarterbacking hero. Covey, 12 for 21 today, 220 yards. Incomplete. The Air Force Academy is right now. 10:18 to go in the third quarter here in Provo. BYU leading the Air Force 17-10. Second and 10 for the Cougars from the Air Force 43. Whittingham. And a man on it. And Evan Smith. One order. Well, you gotta just watch that show just to watch that kid. He's a great player. Freshman. Doing a bang-up job for Galen Hall's Gators. Covey, the pass. Pressured. Throws out to Whittingham. He's got running over the 30. At the 20. 15. Ball out of bounds. First and 10 from the 11. Covey quickly sees the near side and Matt Bellini, and he's out of bounds at the 6. The Cougars leading it 17-10. Whittingham tries to find a hole, keeps driving down to the 1. This young man has been very impressive. In the short yardage situation, Lee Corso's new friend, the Hawaiian refrigerator, is in for Salanoa. The handoff. O'Brien strikes the plane. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
To think about their loss to Syracuse and get ready for West Virginia today. This afternoon, Beaver Stadium, Penn State was down 21-10, but they came back. Here's how they were down. West Virginia's Major Harris to John Talley. 30-yard touchdown for West Virginia. Hey, when you're in trouble, Penn State, give the ball to Blair Thomas. Over the top. Blair gets the touchdown. And then the Lions, freshman running back. Look at him. Great individual effort. Gary Brown, stiff arm, touchdown. Penn State came back being down 21-10. Mountaineers want to score to take the lead, but Penn State intercepts, and here's the final score, 25-21.
Found themselves fighting back today in two respects. One, they're rebounding from a shellacking at the hands of Syracuse, and two, they fought back this afternoon to defeat rival West Virginia. The game was played at University Park. PSU with the ball down close in the fourth quarter, 21-10, West Virginia. Frankfurt's Blair Thomas got them closer, so close he'd get the next call to get the score. Thomas had a career-high 181 yards on 36 carries. It was 21-16. A two-point conversion made it 21-18. State scored a pair of touchdowns in the final 10 minutes. With 3:04 remaining in the game, Gary Brown did his thing, and from 19 yards out, Brown made the Mountaineers feel blue, the home blue of Penn State. That was it. Penn State 25, West Virginia 21. Let's check some scores. Army by 10 over the James Thompson-less Owls. Army 17-7 over Temple. An offensive explosion in Newark. Maine 59-56 over Delaware. And the UConn Husky wanted to get it on in the stands, but they let the teams do it on the field. UConn in blue with the ball. Matt DeGennaro to David Dunn, wide open down the right side of the field. A 28-yard scoring play, 28-10 Connecticut. Nova came back. Kurt Schultz, the quarterback, wore number 3. His number 12 jersey was ripped, but here's the story about a man named Brady who's been busy with a touchdown pass of his own every game this season. Bob Brady scored from 17 yards out, 28-16. The point after was no good. And in the fourth, the Huskies made good. Quarterback Matt DeGennaro rolled right and rolled into the end zone. Villanova fell to 5-2 in the year. UConn won the game 34-23. The Orangemen of Syracuse took a perfect record of 7-0 into the Steel City this afternoon. The Panthers of Pittsburgh were the opposition in the Eastern Battle. First quarter action, Syracuse in white down close. The quarterback is Don McPherson. McPherson rolls out of the shadows of the goalpost into the end zone, 10-0 Syracuse. Second quarter, McPherson will make something happen again. This time looking to throw the ball. He lets it go before he's hit. His tight end, Pat Kelly, hauls it in, and he hauls it down to the goal line. A 28-yard scoring play for the Orangemen. They ended up winning 24-10.
Third and 6. From the BYU 17, Dallas. Somebody's got him by the shirt, and that's Butrell. And Dallas is down inside the 15 at the, but he stays there and tackles the quarterback. That was a good play by BYU. Covey now has passed for 265 yards. Hands it off to O'Brien. 40, 45, 50, and into Air Force territory. And Covey looking to Bellini, finds it at the
game at State College, Pennsylvania. West Virginia hadn't won against Penn State, up at Penn State since 1954. They nearly pulled this one out as you look at Major Harris.
Major Harris, we saw earlier in the year, a great athlete. He shows his ability here as he kicks the ball out to Anthony Brown, another fine running back. West Virginia is a good football team right now, and it's mainly because of that guy, number 9, who's come alive both as the runner we knew he would be and the passer.
And he does a good play fake into the line. This time he'll go to his tight end, Keith Wynn, for a touchdown as West Virginia got up by 14 points in this game. This big pass to John Talley put the Mountaineers ahead, and with 4 minutes to go, they look like winners.
But Penn State rallied, and in the end, with 2 touchdowns in the closing period, they came back to win this football game in a tough one against the Mountaineers.
25-21 the final score. Pitt over to Penn State, beating West Virginia. Temple and Army as the parachuters comes in at Mikey Stadium at West Point. It's been a long season for both clubs. They both had losing streaks on the line.
But here is another great story. Otto Leone, the 6th-string quarterback. So many unbelievable injuries. Here comes a kid they never even planned on using probably for a couple of years. And he was the mainstay of this offense against Temple.
He was in the stands a year ago watching this team play. He uncorks a pass to Mark Charette. His only pass of the game. It's a touchdown to his tight end. And Army, of course, wins over Rutgers. Rutgers, or rather, over Temple, and Temple has lost 4 straight.